Hi everyone, it's Marianne and welcome to my Oasis Life. In this video, I'll be sharing with you my spring plant collection house tour. So if you've seen my inner jungle bedroom makeover and plant tour, you've probably seen a lot of these plants already, but there has been changes since that video and a lot of plants have grown and have been repotted and propagated since. So let's start over here by my windowsill. So this is a cactus that I originally got from Lowe's on clearance for $1. The top was knocked off accidentally, and I've been trying to propagate that since. It hasn't done much since I started to propagate it, but it hasn't died either, so I think that's a good sign. And over here is my string of hearts, and if you've seen my To All the Plants I Love Before video, this is one of the plants that did struggle over the winter. It suffered from mealybugs, so I had to cut off a lot of the strings and propagate them, which I will show you on my plant shelf. But a lot of new growth has come out from this one, so this one is bouncing back, so I'm not really concerned with this plant because this grows pretty fast, and this is pretty much how much it was when I first got it. So I know this will do very well come growing season, the fall. So by the time I do my fall plant collection in October or November, I am confident that I'll be showing you a plant that has long strands or long vines already. So I'm rooting very much for this string of hearts. And over here is the cactus in this planter and Haworthia in this one. And honestly, I'm more attached to this planter than I am with the plant that's in it. So I might have to repot some of these plants that are already in it so I could keep the planter if I am ever going to rehome this cactus and this Haworthia. And this one is a succulent that is surprisingly doing very well under my care, and it has grown a lot of new pops at the bottom and even propagated itself by its own. So this one is doing very well too. But I'm not really a succulent person. So over here in this contraption is my Hoya Hindorope. I believe I've shown a repotting video of this in my IGTV. So let me just take out this thing so I can show you. So here it is. I did repot this into this tiny terracotta pot that I got from Goodwill for I think about 50 cents, less than $1 definitely. And the reason I repotted it because it was getting too small for the 1-inch or 2-inch pot that it was in, and the Hoya compacta was continually growing. So I repotted it, and if you remember in my previous videos, this was actually on a stake. I took out that stake and I cut it in half and propagated it, and I merely stuck it in soil to see if it would grow roots that way. It worked very well for my Hoya carrii if you've seen my previous video, so I'm hoping it would work the same for this Hoya Hindorope. And I'm putting it in this glass enclosure to provide humidity instead of putting it in a Ziploc bag, just because the Ziploc bag, I mean, it works great, but it looks so unsightly. So this one provides a better cover for this Hoya Hindorope as it tried to propagate. And so far it's been working well. I haven't checked the roots. I don't want to disturb it, but I probably give it maybe another week before I check it. I know it's been like about at least 2 weeks since I repotted and propagated this plant. So yeah. So over here is my rubber tree. Originally, I didn't buy new ones. This was actually 3 plants all in this one plant, and I separated them. And once I separated them, they look so much bigger now. So these 2 And this one I think is the biggest and the largest one. This one I am going to keep. These two are already up on my Etsy. If you're interested in purchasing them, they are in my Etsy shop now. The link is down in the description. And over here is my original Manjula Pathos, which I am also trying to propagate a bit more from this. I already propagated the reverted Manjula Pathos leaves from this one, which are doing beautifully, and I'm going to keep that one, but I'm probably going to propagate from this plant, or maybe just like separate it, cut it in half and sell one half and keep one half. I am not sure yet, just because about a couple weeks ago or maybe a week ago, I don't know, time is crazy right now, I got another set of Manjula Pathos, which I got from Lowe's for $3.98. This is actually two plants in one, which I combined into this pot. It's looking a little bit sparse right now because if you've seen my repotting video of this one, I said there was a lot of dead leaves. There's no root rot. I checked when this, which is why I repotted it in the first place, when normally I wouldn't repot a plant that I just got right away because a lot of the roots were rotting. So a lot of the leaf loss was still from the leaves that were damaged, but it's doing pretty well. And there's like a lot of new growth in here too. So I'm not worried about this plant. I know this would become this plant soon, and I don't need two Manjula Pathos. So this is why I'm going to probably be selling either propagations from this one, or I'm just gonna repot this into new pots and I'm gonna sell one half on my Etsy or Facebook Marketplace and keep one half of it. And over here is my pink syngonium that I got from a plant swap, and this one has grown really fast, and I'm also thinking of propagating from this one and planting some of it outdoors and see what happens if I do plant it outdoors. I think this would do well outside, but I want to see because this is a really nice plant and it's a very fast grower. So yeah, the pink syngonium. And over here is my Hoya carrii. I did a propagation video on this as well, and the ones that I've propagated from here have already grown roots and are ready to be plants of their own. So I've already repotted them. Those are gonna be plants. They're gonna grow new stems and new leaves just because I did propagate them with stems. So they might look like single leaf cutting, but they will actually grow new stems and new leaves. And over here, I believe this is the first time I am showing this. This is my Enjoy Pothos. I did get this after I got the Scindapsus exotica. I purchased this from Trader Joe's. I got a tip from one of the Facebook groups that I'm in that Trader Joe's is currently selling them. So I went to one, and this was of course before the whole world was turned into chaos and we had a coronavirus pandemic. But I got this, yeah, probably like 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. Time is a blur right now. But yeah, so it has been growing beautifully. I've watered this once since I got it, and I am most likely going to propagate from this because I don't need this much. Enjoy Pothos, especially since I already have the Pearls and Jade Pothos too, so I would likely propagate from this one. And this is my Petunia. I've also propagated a lot from this, but it is due for watering soon, so it looks a little bit flat. But I've also propagated a lot from this, and the reason I've propagated a lot from this is because I want to plant those propagations outside as ground cover. But we will see if that works out. And it's very easy to propagate this. I've shared a video on my IGTV how I propagated this Petunias. So if you want to see how I propagated from my Petunia, go watch my IGTV at My Oasis Life. And underneath here next to my books is this Sansevieria cylindrica, which is also starting to grow new pops, and this might need repotting soon as well, or at least separate them into 2 smaller pots. And right over here is my Monstera Deliciosa, right here in my meditation corner. So this one, I am putting out a video in the future of me propagating from this plant, but I've made several propagations from this. That is my Monstera Deliciosa, looking very pretty in my meditation corner. So let's move on to my side table and my plant shelf. So let's do the side table first. So this is my Ruby Ficus elastica. I had a smaller Ruby Ficus elastica, if you remember in my previous videos and in my how to flush a plant video. I actually sold that plant already. I sold it yesterday. And this one is the other stem or plant from the mother plant. There were still 2 plants in that mother plant. Yesterday I separated and repotted it into this one. And this one is right over here. I am not sure if I'm going to keep this one. We will see. I don't need 2 Ficus elasticas, but maybe I do. I don't know, but we will see. But right now it is potted in here. And over here is my Hoya Crimson Queen, which after suffering from mealybugs has bounced back with a vengeance and really pretty quick. All of these are new growth, and we're seeing some more new growth over here and new growth over here and lots of new growth over here. So this one, Hoyas don't like to be repotted, so I'm really very wary about repotting this plant. But at the same time, I do want to repot it into a smaller plant so I could put it up in my wall so it doesn't have to be here. But then at the same time, I want it to trail up like this. So I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what are my plans for this plant yet, or if I'm going to propagate from this. I am not sure yet. We will see, but I do love this plant. This is still by far my most expensive plant. I paid $35 for this one. When it got mealybugs, I was so terrified, but you know, I kept calm and carry on, applied the remedy that I know how, applied remedy to it, and it works. So if you want to see and learn how I got rid of mealybugs very quickly from this Hoya Crimson Queen, go watch that video. The link is somewhere up here and also down in the description. And over here is the spider plant. This is also a propagation that I got from a plant swap, which has grown so much since, and I can't wait for this to grow new pops. I really like this spider plant. So my plant shelf has become sort of a propagation station. That's why a lot of the plants that normally was here was moved into the dresser or into the wall or into other places, because this propagation stuff has kind of taken over my plant shelf. So these are some of them. There's like a neon pothos, a heartly philodendron, some Scindapsus pectus, Argyrius, my Manjula Pathos. These are the reverted Manjula Pathos as well, which has grown roots. If you've watched my water experiment, you will see how much roots they have grown and which type of water they grew roots the fastest in. And over here is some more Scindapsus pectus Argyrius, and this one is growing in perlite. Over here is blue pothos that has been growing in sphagnum moss, I believe. And 2 of the leaves have dried out, but that's okay. The rest are still doing fine and doing well. But we'll see with that. And over there is my Philodendron Brazil and Petunia propagations. Yeah, we'll go check on that in a little bit. And here's some more Philodendron Brazil that I am propagating. Let me go grab it if I could see. But you can see some of the roots already forming. Well, I can. I don't know if you can. So over here, you can see the roots already forming for the Philodendron Brazil. And also here for the Petunia. And let's open it up and see what's going on inside. So because this one is in such an enclosed container, I don't have to water this often. So it's kind of like in a terrarium situation. So that's why I don't check it often. And this one has been growing in coco coir. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, everything looks perfectly fine, perfectly well. So I'm just gonna keep it in there for as long as I can before I have to repot them. And this is the one that is going into my garden, and maybe this one too will go in my garden. We don't know, but we will see. Over here is the Peperomia Pixie that I have in this cute pot. The only thing about this is when I have to water it, I have to like tilt it like this to let the excess water come out from here. But that is fine. I've learned to know how much water to give this so that I don't overwater it. But also it has been experiencing some yellowing, and I think it's just like the mature leaves dying off because there's a lot of new growth here as well. So this one might need to be repotted soon as well because the soil dries out very fast now. So this one is probably calling for a new pot soon. So this one will have to be repotted. And this is another snake plant, but yeah, I realized I'm not really into snake plants. I mean, they are nice. They're very easy care for plants. They live up to their reputation as plants of steel, but I'm not really much into them. So this is probably the ones that I'm going to rehome pretty soon. So over here is my Marble Queen Pothos. This one is the very first Pothos that I bought. It suffered from root rot about a month since having it, but now it has bounced back and has grown so much, and now it's also starting to trail. So I'm very excited for this plant, and I don't think I'm going to propagate from this plant anytime soon. I'm just going to let it grow big and see what happens with that one. And this one is my Neon Pothos. It needs to be watered really bad. As you can see, I could see the soil from top, and as I said in my Pothos care video, if I can see the soil on top, it means the plant needs watering. And obviously the leaves itself are telling me that they need watering because they're very soft and curled. So yeah, this one needs watering ASAP. And over here is my Bonnie Spider plant that I also got as a baby pop propagation. And I recently repotted this and I shared it in my IGTV video. But look at it now. The roots are starting to grow out again. So I probably have to repot this again into a bigger pot because obviously the pot that I put it in is still too small for it. And the last one on this shelf is my String of Hearts, and like I shared in my previous video on soil and soil amendments and my update for the Hoya carrii, the one downside of propagating in perlite is if you stick it very close to a light source, which I have when putting this on my plant shelf, is you can see the algae formation on the perlite. It's not the worst thing. It hasn't affected my plants, to be honest, but if that's something that bothers you or is a concern to you, that is one thing about growing plants in perlite. But I mean, this happens too if you grow it in sphagnum moss. So it's just really a matter of preference or if this bothers you or not. I don't think the algae is bad for the plants. I might be wrong, but this is what it happens. And you could always just scrape it off and top it off with fresh perlite if you want, if this happens. But it's not bothering me. The plants is obviously growing, so I'm just gonna let it be. So the last two plants in my bedroom is the Scindapsus pictus exotica and the Xerographica. So let's move closer and let's talk about them. So let's do the Xerographica first. So this over here, this one is a very low maintenance plant, but because I no longer miss my plants, I forget about this and only remember this during its watering days. So the tips has been drying out, which is the very first sign that your Xerographica or any of your air plant is suffering. So I've been trying to water it more frequently and stay on schedule with the watering because I failed to miss it anymore. But as you can see, the tips, and I actually had to cut off one long strand because it has dried out because I've been forgetting to mist it and water it on time. So now I've been trying to stick very closely to its watering schedule and make sure I water it on time so it doesn't dry out. And here is my Scindapsus pictus exotica. Let me take it out of the window so it's not backlit. But yeah, so this one has started to trail a bit more ever since I've gotten it, and a lot of new growth has been sprouting on top. I haven't checked its root system ever since I've gotten it. I know it needs to be repotted because it's so overcrowded in this pot. As you can see, some of the leaves are yellowing because it couldn't get any light, even though I already have it hanging in front of a south-facing window. So it's time to repot this, and I know it's very root bound, so watch out for a video of me repotting this plant. It's coming soon. Okay, so this is going to be a long video because I lied when I said those were the two last plants, because I still have the plants on my green wall. So over here is the Staghorn Fern. It has been growing so much as well, but I'm also thinking of rehoming that one. And this one is my Philodendron Brazil. So this one I planned ever since the start of the year to bring outside. So this one is not gonna stay in my room. Once the weather has started to be consistently warm or above 65 degrees, I would definitely repot this and put this in the patio. And I'll probably put this Syndapsis exotica in that one as a replacement. I'm not sure yet, but we will see. And over here is my string of pearls. This one is also doing pretty well, but right now it's actually just potted up in sphagnum moss. So the only concern that I have with this string of pearls right now is it's not receiving any nutrients because it is growing in an inert material. So I will probably have to fertilize this real soon, at least with a liquid fertilizer. I don't think I'll be able to repot it without destroying its root system or giving it a very heavy shock. So I'll keep it in the sphagnum moss for as long as I can, as long as it is happy and growing. And I just have to fertilize this one soon. And this is my Syndapsis pictus argyrius. I've also cut off and propagated a lot from this one, as you have seen in my plant shelf. Still experiencing yellowing leaves occasionally, and it's also starting to bald a bit on top, but otherwise it's doing pretty well. And this is my hardleaf philodendron. This one is also going outside slash possibly be rehomed, and I'm trying to put another plant over here. Like I said, I'm trying to put up either the Manjula Pathos, the Hoya Crimson, the Neon Pothos up in here. So some of the plants that are here now will likely have to be somewhere else. And this is the Blue Pothos. I recently just put it back up here. It's originally on my vanity, but it's getting too crowded. As you can see, I've been trying to trail it to go upwards. The Blue Pothos, once it starts growing, it grows really fast. So I'm hoping by bringing it outside, it would grow fast and I'd be able to make a lot of propagations from it like I did last growing season. So that is one side of my room. And this is my meditation corner with my Monstera Deliciosa. And here is my vanity and dresser and my green wall. So here are plants in bedroom number 2. As you can see, the Pearls Enjoy Pothos on above this bed has started to trail in comparison to what you might have seen in my fall plant collection video. So let's just do a little bit of close up on that. So look how this much is trailing. I haven't propagated from this plant. I don't think I will, but we'll see. And this one is also actually probably as long as the other one, but it's just all tangled up. I just need to entangle it, but it is growing long as well. Yeah. And over here at this vanity is this Peperomia Pixie, I believe. So there are 3 plants in this small container right here, and they obviously have already outgrown it. So I am also probably going to do a separation video on this one like I have with my other plants already, and separate this into 3 different plants. And this one is the Zizi Plant. This one has grown so much. I got this originally from Trader Joe's, but it has sprouted so many new growths this year. So I think what I'm going to do is to separate them as well. Maybe divide it into 2, maybe even 3 plants, just because it is getting overcrowded in its original container. And this pot from Trader Joe's as well doesn't have real drainage. So when I'm watering this, and I only water my Zizi once a month, and I'm very careful with how much I water it, because this pot doesn't have a real drainage despite how it looks. But look at the new growth in the Zizi. It's so amazing. But yeah, so that one is going to get repotted real soon. Over here is the Ruby Ficus elastica. This one never stopped growing all throughout the winter. So all these leaves up here are new and it's still shooting out new growth. So this Ruby Ficus elastica, I already have flushed. I already have started fertilizing them again for the season. And originally it had 2 plants. Well, actually it had 3 plants, but when I initially got it, I already took out the smallest one, which I potted up, and I actually sold yesterday very quickly on Facebook Marketplace. And it had 2 plants left in this one, and I took out the other one, and which you saw in my bedroom tour. And yeah, so this one is just the mother plant by itself, which actually looks pretty good. I thought it's going to look sparse once I separated it, but it's not, and it's actually allowed the leaves to spread out a little bit more, and it still look very much full and very happy in its current place. And this one is definitely a keeper. I will not be letting go of this plant. And the last plant in this bedroom is the Pilea peperomoides. And this one has grown significantly as well ever since I've gotten it. You've heard me talk about this plant many times if you've been with me for a while. I had lots of ups and downs with this plant, but now I'm just like letting it be. And you know, it thrives on neglect, and it has been doing pretty well once I started hovering over it. And it has just been here. It receives low light in this corner, but it is doing well. But as you can see, it has several baby pups. So this one is the mother plant, and this is like 1, 2, 3 pups that have pretty much matured on their own already. And there's like a couple baby ones at the bottom. So I might have to repot and separate at least the mature baby ones. This one, and maybe a third one. At the back, we will see, because it's also getting a little bit too snug in this container that they're at, because this actually is just in a Chinese container. As you can see, some of the roots are already starting to pop out. And yeah, so that is my Pilea peperomoides. And over here is 2 Sansevieria plants. It's a bit backlit, so let me grab them. So this one over here is the Moonshine Sansevieria. I got this at a Home Depot in Gaithersburg, and it has grown a lot ever since. And this one is another snake plant. I'm not really sure what is the exact name of this one, but it is one of the more common ones when it comes to Sansevierias or snake plants. And I originally got this in New York City. And over here is the golden pothos, which you have seen many times in my pothos guide series video. But yeah, so it has been growing pretty well. This one has started in with 2 4-inch golden pothos. It was growing outside, but it was just underneath the deck in the patio, so it doesn't really receive a lot of light. It was definitely low light even if it was outside. And with this one, it's just been in this bedroom that has a north-facing window, but it's doing pretty well. It's also underneath a lamp, which normally is turned on, but it doesn't really need it right now because today is a sunny day. So I just have to turn it like that a little bit so it will get some light. But otherwise, it has been thriving pretty well. And that's my dog over there trying to get his nap. But let me show you now the plants that we have in our living room. So over here where my doggo is taking his nap is our living space. Hi, hello. Over there is my Thamatophyllum bifinatifidum. It is growing large. I plan to take that outside once the weather is steadily warm, and I'm also planning to separate some of that, keep some as indoor plants, and I'm going to try to plant some in ground and see what happens with that one. And this is some type of corn plant, Christina. We had this for a long time and it has grown so much, and I had to stake it already because it couldn't balance itself anymore, but we will see. And my fiddler fig, which normally was in my bedroom, I had to bring it out because it doesn't really have enough space in my bedroom anymore. And this one probably needs to be separated too, because this is like 3 different plants in one, and they probably need to be separated too in order to grow really well. And aloe vera, and this is a calamundan or calamansi, and this is my mango plant that I've grown from seed, and this one I'm definitely keeping for myself. And I have some herbs at the back that I'm growing. This one is basil, over here is chamomile, and over there is cilantro. Right over here I have my pineapple plant, which I grew from a store-bought pineapple, and now it has grown so large. Over here is a kumquat, which is struggling. Over here are some more herbs that I've been growing for mango plants that I'm also trying to rehome. And this is another calamansi or calamundan plant that is a bit struggling right now. I had to repot it because the soil was infested with insects. So it didn't react too well to that, but it's now growing new leaves as it also loses leaves. So I think this will be fine. Over here is some succulent arrangement that I kind of had to rearrange into this semi-terrarium situation because they were dying. This is not mine originally, but I had to take care of it. This is a Monstera Deliciosa propagation from my mother plant. And here's another one of that I just repotted yesterday. And I have a couple more that is propagating in water. And over here is my baby fig. It's also a propagation from the mother plant that I did a long time ago, but now it's like growing beautifully as its own plant. A lavender plant. This one struggled a bit over the winter, but it should bounce back as the growing season starts. And over here are my Hoya carrii propagations. And this one is an unidentified plant that I got a cutting from when I was in Miami a year, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember. Most likely last year. It has started to grow, but I still couldn't identify this plant. And over here, my Monstera adansonii, which is, I don't know, always struggling between life and death. And this is a Tradescantia propagations, Pilea propagations, baby fiddler fig, some ficus, creeping ficus. This is one of the very first plants that I bought before I even started my plant journey. And this is another Monstera Deliciosa propagation. This one has been yellowing, but the roots is growing and is trying to push out a new growth. So I'm trying to see if this could be revived. So this is kind of like also has turned into my propagation station in the living room because this is south facing windows and they get good light over here. In this bathroom is just the spider plant and hyacinth, which is pretty much dying. And over here is a haworthia in this basket that I DIY'd last year. It is a basket that I got from Goodwill and I spray painted it into gold. And so this one kind of looks like a mini pineapple. looking like this. And that is a majestic plant. Never get a majestic plant. And in the bar area is the Tridescantia. I'm not really into Tridescantia. I did buy this specifically to sell. This one is a Christmas cactus that did bloom for me during Christmas, and it's doing pretty well. And this one is an orchid. This one is real. The flowers are fake. But yeah, this has been with us for a long time as well, but it has never rebloomed, so we just put fake orchids on it. And this is a fiddler fig propagation. I'm not sure if it will actually take, but it's actually starting to grow roots, as you can see over here. You see that? It actually is growing roots, so that is amazing. So those are the plants in the bar area. Over here, I don't know what kind of palm or dracaena this is, but this one has been with us for the longest time as well. Hi, baby. Are you ready for your walk? Okay, so we're going out to the deck. I did take out some of the plants that you've already seen, just because it is a good day out and they deserve some light. These are the ones that were on the kitchen sink windowsill. This is my Maidenhair Fern, which is, you know, and so this is the plant that I got from Miami. I do plan to plant this outside in ground and see what happens with that one. And this is my picture plant, cilantro and parsley that I grew from seed. This poinsettia that is surprisingly still alive. Chives that is not doing so well, so I have to regrow them again from seed. And some Tridescantia propagations that fell off from the mother plant, and I was like, might as well propagate them. And vegetables that I'm trying to regrow. These are like store-bought vegetables I'm trying to regrow. I think this is radish, this is celery, and that is bok choy. This one you've already seen. And just got some evergreens over here and there too. These are microgreens that I am growing. And this is a hibiscus flower. Sorry for the construction noise. I'm surprised people are doing construction, or I think people are mowing their lawns. But here is an evergreen plant, and these are some of the seedlings. I've did a seedlings tours already in my Garden With Me vlog, so I'm not gonna go through all of them, but I've been growing some tomatoes, herbs, and some beans, pepper, and yeah. And over here, I don't know what those plants are. I think those were roses. And we're just gonna go down to the patio. And over there, I already started my raised bed, and we can go down and see what I have in there. These are garlic that I'm trying to grow, and this is kale, lettuce, some more lettuce. So I'm not trying to be very thorough with my outdoor garden because I am doing a Garden With Me vlog series. So if you want to see more in depth what I'm growing outside or what it looks like or my plans for it, do watch my Garden With Me vlogs, because I talk at length of all my plans for my garden. And over here I have arugula growing, and I have some bok choy over here that's already starting to show their true leaf. I have spinach over there. I think this one is red cabbage, I'm not sure. And I got some broccoli, some cauliflower in those seedling pots, and all the way at the back are sweet peas that I'm gonna be putting in the front yard. I'm not gonna show you the front yard because it's not ready yet and there's not really much to see. I will show it when it's ready, when I'm ready to do my cottage garden tour in a future video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I hope you subscribe. I come up with houseplants and sustainable lifestyle videos every week, and if you haven't yet, go check out these videos up here. until my next one. But until then, I see you. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself and each other and have a plentiful day. Bye.